Back on the Exit 52 podcast, presented as always by Jimmy's Famous Seafood. It is Monday night, April 14th, 8 p.m. here, top of the hour. My name is Jake Louque, and I'm joined by 2 out of 3 L's Arditti. How we doing, pal? Not not 2 L's, but kind of a bit of a kissing your sister situation. Canceled game on Friday, or postponed at the very least. So no actual result from this series quite yet. I'm not totally sure how that's going to net out, but it is a 1-1 decision in a 2-game set versus the Blue Jays. Some highs, some lows, continually frustrating, but I don't know. I don't know how you feel about this. I felt like we saw some signs of life out there this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we saw. I think it goes down as just a split. I think it's just a two-game split. But yeah, it was. There was a lot of good, and then there was some very bad at the end. I was there on Sunday with Joe for Kids Opening Day, another great event. The Orioles staff there, everyone who puts all that stuff together is great. But yeah, I mean, the first probably 8 innings of that game were awesome. Friday, you kind of knew it was going to get rained out. It was just a shitty, really bad weather day all day. So I woke up right away. I was like, all right, well, they're not getting 1 in today, maybe 2 tomorrow. I didn't know if they wanted to. Neither team wanted to waste an off day later on in the season. So it is cool that they were able to make it a doubleheader. I don't know when the makeup day is for Friday. But yeah, Saturday was the what were they calling it? The orange out, the orange crush, the orange glad we didn't wear the City Connects, something like that. But yeah, that game was fun, and it started out like a goddamn snoozer. Not much fun stuff there early on, but it ended up turning around, and I was like, oh, maybe this could be a win that kind of catapults them, and lo and behold, it did not. So
yeah, quite frankly, I think you know this. I think anyone who follows me on Twitter probably knows this. I was not as necessarily dialed in on these 2 games this weekend. This was a big sports weekend for me down at Augusta National, so I was kind of following a little bit more of the Masters, but I did have the Orioles games on second screen experience, which is my usual viewing experience now that I've got the MLB package, thanks to T-Mobile, which is great. So yeah, watching a lot of the games on my laptop. I had them on, and yeah, what I wrote down for this game 1 here in the first inning, I think bleak, which is kind of the word that came to mind. It just felt like a slow bleed of, like, you look back at the box score. Inning 1, 1 run by Toronto. Inning 2, 1 run by Toronto. Inning 3.
Not even just like inning 1. It was 3 pitches and it was 1-0. It went first pitch double from Bichette. And then Vladdy followed right up with a double. And then I forget how they got the run there, but then they were able to get out of it. But I was like, I just sat down. I was like, oh, look, all right, Sagana's on the mound. They're in the all oranges. Here we go. And it's 1-0. It was seconds. And it was like, well, this isn't what they need to start the homestand. Sorry, I had to.
No, you're fine. I mean, like, you described it well there. Inning 3, 1 run. And it's just like, you're right. It was Sugano on the mound. I maybe got a little big in my britches, and I tweeted that he was going to paint a masterpiece or something to that effect. Not terrible in this game on balance, I don't think, but just the command a little bit lacking. He looked, again, nervous. I felt like it took him like 30 pitches to get through the first 2 collectively, maybe more than that, probably more than that, actually. So total for him was 4.2 innings, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks. So again, like, not terrible numbers from a starter who you would have projected as your 5th, and he probably is, all else being equal, when everybody is healthy, or he's right in that range, kind of back into the rotation. But he's kind of your guy right now, and he didn't quite look like it in that game on Saturday. But yeah, like I said, just, not all that bad. And really, it just kind of highlighted that when you look through these box scores that I have pulled up, it just feels like this team has a problem on the offensive side right now. It just feels like they have problems from the plate. They did not score until the fifth inning. The Orioles did. That was to make it a 3-2 ball game. And yeah, obviously we had a bit of an offensive explosion there. Score would wind up being 5-4 overall. They would score 3 in the 6th inning as well. It was a homer by Heston to open the proceedings. Another one from Adley with a just sick bat flip. Like, that's kind of, I felt like that was kind of the moment everyone was like, "Yep, like that's what they needed." Like, is this kind of the shock to the system? Are they applying the jumper cables here with this one? And then obviously Cedric with driving a couple in there as well. I don't know if that wound up being a triple or just a double for him, but the ball kind of getting stuck under the rubber there, which is always a fortuitous thing. I love when that happens. But yeah, overall, I mean, this one was, that's what you're looking for, but you wish that they could spread it out a little bit, and you wish that they could do that because it's a psychological lift to score earlier, take some pressure off the pitching staff, and it's a psychological lift for your offense later in the game when you're only down by 1 as opposed to like 2 or 3, and you feel like you have to press and try to find a way to score and get guys around home plate. I mean, I'm not going to talk any ill of this game because obviously that was awesome to watch and very fun, a much needed salve after that, disgusting series out in Arizona. But I mean, painted against the context of what we saw the next day, it's disappointing. It's frustrating. And it's just like it's kind of the conversation I was having with Zach on the previous series recap. It just, when you see them play to their potential like that, it just makes it all the more annoying when they don't even touch it in other games. Like when you look at that second game where they actually did have some offensive production and then the pitching fails and the bullpen fails them. It's like, when are all these, pieces going to click into place for, 3 or 4 games out of a week, or something, and you can just kind of go on a run and get back in the mix in the AL East, which is not looking good right now. Just feels like you got the opportunity to hang in there. I think they still kind of are in there by virtue of the stand. But it just feels like, you got to start to find a way to just grit out some of these games. And they did it on Saturday, not so much on Sunday.
Yeah, the season or the series left a lot to be desired. Again, the bleh start on Saturday. Again, and Sagano, I mean, he was fine. I thought Hyde was pretty spot on in the post game where he was just missing by an inch or two. And we'll talk about umpiring throughout the series. But, Sagano it seemed like he was just a tick off. I don't know, I don't know if he is not great with cold weather or stuff like that, but he didn't seem comfortable. Again, you could tell that right off the bat. But again, you could kind of tell that he didn't have his ace stuff, and he did just kind of gut it out, and that was one of the games.
It feels like every start you get at this point. It just feels like you just get off to a rough start and they just kind of get the jitters out of the way, and then they settle in for a little while and they're able to keep these games competitive, and the bullpen helps with that too. But it's like, man, why don't we just go out there and how about being fucking normal
right off the bat?
Yeah, just like the Sopranos, how about being fucking normal? Why is that so hard? Like, just go out there and shove right from the jump. And it just seems like outside of Eflin, we haven't seen that from any of these guys this season.
I was going to say, besides for the Eflin starts, every start is kind of like buckle up, and you're gonna look up and it's 65 pitches in the third inning, and you're praying that a guy can make it through 5 and sniff 6, and it's just not happening for them right now. It's a lot of high pitch counts, and again, it's 25 pitches after 1 and 42 after 2, and you're just like, geez, like, they're just making these guys work and work and work. And it's just, and again, that's a killer for the bullpen, especially when you don't have options. Nobody in the bullpen has options. I don't know if they made a move today for that guy. I think his name was, I forget his first name, but Blewett was his last name.
Yeah. They're just trolling us at this point.
I wanted to say Chris Blewett. Wasn't that the field goal kicker though?
Yeah, that was that kicker. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, this guy Blewett, let me see. I have the tweet. Scott Blewett, DFA'd by the Twins on Saturday. This is from Jake Rill, former McDaniel or fellow McDaniel, Green Terror, go Mean Green. Not Mean Green. That's a different mascot. 29-year-old righty, 1.18 ERA in 14 appearances over the last 2 seasons, a 1.93 ERA in 4 2/3 over 2 outings this year. And then I believe they DFA'd, I think it was Luis Gonzalez, I'm sorry, who had been on the Orioles 40-man since November 4th, who was on Norfolk's IL. So they're going to have to make a move there. I don't know if that's going to be a CNL Perez in his ERA of, I believe, somewhere in the mid-teens, very close to legal drinking age for CNL. I don't know what else they're going to do. The only thing that I'm thinking about is that leaves – who is it? Aiken and Soto as the only lefties in the bullpen. But at this point, you just got to do something. The bullpen, it's already kind of getting up there, and they're getting worked a lot, especially when you're kind of playing a man down with Felix not being able to go, multi-inning, back-to-back days, stuff like that. So Yeah, it's very taxing on the bullpen when these guys are going 4 1/3 or 4 2/3 or 3 2/3, something like that. You just got to get more length out of your guys, and you need them to start going deeper into games, and that's kind of where it starts. But you talked about it. They're not out of it by any means. They're 2.5 games back in the division. I am on Twitter before this, and I see Carabas tweeting like, I just want to have fun watching the Red Sox again. No one in the AL East is having fun, I don't think.
I mean,
Maybe
that's
the Blue Jays a little bit,
kind
but
of stuff. Yeah, the Blue Jays, I think, have a frisky team, and we'll get into some of those guys. But that's just the stuff that kind of warms my heart to see that these other teams. You got the John Boy guys, talking Yankees. And it's just like, yeah, the Orioles are at the bottom of the heap here at 6-9. Very nice. Blue Jays catapult their way up to 9-7, and they're in sole possession of the AL East right now. And that's not, that's
somebody. It may have been Ryan. I think it was Ryan Ripken who said like, there's no team in the AL with 10 wins yet. Like, it's just no. It's not even just like the AL East. The whole league kind of stinks right now. I think if you're doing a NL versus maybe probably the NL West versus the field, you're probably going to take the NL West.
He is just waiting with bated breath to hit that first fucking nose or fine tweet. He's like a pent up valve. We saw him out there on opening day. I could it's eating at him. I know he wants to put it out there.
We're just like edging on that too, because again, it's like the Orioles haven't won consecutive games yet. They haven't.
He was going to tweet it if they won on Sunday too.
Oh, absolutely. I had some tweets ready to fire off too, but those went right back into the drafts and JoJo kept saying, "Daddy, what do these words mean?" He's like, "Don't worry about it, hon." Also, apparently, we sat in the bird bath on Sunday, and it was. We'll talk about it when we get to the Sunday game. But going back to Saturday, yeah, the offense again has been
personal friend, Mr. Splash. He's our guy.
We were in section 80. We were a little farther part of the newer expanded bird bath, but that was a little bit away. But yeah, Saturday, I don't know what it was, but they were finally able to break out of it. And Heston with the big hit again. Shout out to him that he needed that. Everybody kind of needed it. He earned his $100 stake, and then like you said, Adley with that swing, he's taken some absolute hacks. Like that swing and the swing in Toronto on his second home run. It almost seems like he has a personal vendetta against Canada. I can't put my finger on it. But man, he's taken some absolute hacks against them. And yeah, you don't see the bat flip very often. And that's kind of what we're looking for. And, it seems like, the guy that should be the leader on the team on the Orioles is in the other clubhouse in Toronto right now. That was Santander, who would, speak up in the locker room and kind of, hey guys, let's get this going. They don't seem to have that guy right now. I don't know if I want that to be an O'Hearn or a Mountcastle or a Mullins or an Adley or a Gunner. I mean,
it should be Cedric, but he's just a very soft-spoken guy. And if that's not your personality, that you shouldn't be like that. Weight should really fall to you. But it's like you're right; they just don't have a guy like that.
Yeah, and again, it's hard to. If that's not in a guy's DNA, you can't force it. And the guys know when it's forced, and
exactly,
it comes off very unnatural and inorganic. So again, I don't, not say, and so we've seen Ced get fiery at times, and he'll pump out his chest and stuff like that. But I just don't think they have. Again, ideally, I think it's Gunner or I think it's Adley, who again, if you want to be the face of this franchise and the town and this team, you got to snap a bat maybe every now and then, or you got to spike a helmet or something. And we saw him get fired up when Heston got 98 to the ear hole, but it's just you're still looking for that. So, but it was nice that Ced was able to come through big. That the bases or two RBI double, I think with an error. I'll call it a triple. I don't care. I get it. Yeah, where it gets stuck under the fence and it's sitting right there, and the guy he just couldn't pick it up. I don't know what that is. Baseball players
just no way. There's just no way to look cool while you're doing that. Like that is just that's one of the more humbling things to happen to you in sports.
It's like the gift that I like to tweet out of the guy trying to wash the car and he's like dropping everything and he's like, oh shit, his bucket's falling and he's got all that going on. But yeah, I mean, and shout out to Seti. He's probably been their most, I would say, consistent hitter and player so far this year. He's he's top of the team in RBIs. I think he's still top 5 in the AL, if not MLB. with 16. So he's racking them up. And if you've got guys on and Setty's coming up, there's a good chance he's knocking them in. So yeah, he's played awesome this year on his t-shirt day. All things considered, pretty cool day for him and moment. I tweeted it out. First day of the bird bath. Who was there to get it started and really lock down the win? Setty. The all orange uniforms, the debut of them. Who kind of put the final dagger in and got it going. It was Setty. So if you're debuting something at the ballpark with the team, he's a good guy to have up. So you got to get him in the lineup. So and then of course to close it out with Felix, that was awesome. Again, he clearly didn't have his best stuff. I think he walked 2 guys or 1 guy. I can't remember. But again, and I was talking to somebody and they were like, I'm very anxious.
2 walks, 1 strikeout.
And how many hits? 2 hits? 1 hit?
0
hits. Okay. I had that completely wrong then. But the fact that he was able to get into a little adversity, which again, you're going to need, it's going to happen eventually. So it's like, you kind of want it to come early just so you can fight it and get it out of the way and then not have to worry about it. So again, it was cool that he was kind of able to get himself into some trouble and then get himself out of it. And again, the strikeout, I mean, looking at Adley, not the strikeout. No, did he, how did the game end? Was it a strikeout? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
I don't think he struck anyone out.
It says 1 strikeout on the
yeah. Okay. So it was a strikeout. Yeah, to end it. Yes, that's right. Because it was Bichette, I believe.
He definitely did see Bichette. I remember kind of seeing
Bichette
that.
I tweeted it yesterday. I'm like, Bichette, man, if I'm you, I'm asking out now. They just paid Vladdy. They're not going to re-sign you. He's just so fucking good. He's such a good hitter. I think they said Saturday or Sunday he had 4 hits with 2 outs. And it's like, that's just the most annoying kind of player to play against. But he's awesome. He's a really good hitter. Yeah. I just go to the NL West. Just leave here. Go somewhere far away.
Hey, listen, I got a team that needs some veteran presence that, they got a big old checkbook that they haven't utilized yet.
I don't know where in the infield they're going to put it.
They don't need an infielder necessarily, but, I
don't know. They'll make it work. But, but to see him strike him out and Adley get all excited for him and him and Felix kind of embrace, that was fun. First save in, 567 days or something like that, August of 2023. So
it was that image of him and Adley together. That was another one where it's like, okay, like maybe they're going to be okay. And maybe they still like that. That was good to see. Like, absolutely.
Yeah. Again, they need to smile and they did. And so that was a good win for them. Again, we still haven't seen the comeback win late in the game. I think their last comeback win in the 9th inning was the Verdugo, again, trying to gif of the guy dropping everything, falling over himself. That was that game right before the All-Star break last year. So they're still chasing that late inning kind of comeback. And we saw it last year against the Astros and Santander with the Giants. I guess they were tied there, not necessarily a comeback, but again, that was one that they needed. And like I said, we kind of hope that would kickstart them. Duckbrig, I don't think Mayo and prospects will do it for Sandy. Apparently the Marlins know what they have, and it's going to take more than Mayo and prospects. We'll say that. They know what they've got right now. They're expecting every playoff team, who needs pitching, and every playoff team, you can't have enough pitching. Every pitcher is going. If you're a good pitcher and you're throwing right now on a mound, you're going to get hurt. That's just what's going to happen. You look around the league: Blake Snell, Justin Steele, Garrett Cole, Zach Eflin, yada, yada, yada. You're going to get hurt. So the Marlins know that, and they know that they're going to get a farm system haul for it. So they're going to wait it out. That's kind of what I was told, and what kind of seems that's the writing on the wall. But again, to wrap up Saturday, that was a great win. That was a very fun win, a win that the team needed, the fan base needed, and you're kind of hoping like, all right, let's see what Cade can do tomorrow and kind of go from there. And that led to the first couple innings on Sunday and where that left them.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that moves us into the 6th inning here, which is where we start out with that game too, where I just wrote down, I mean, it just felt like kind of similar to what we've been talking about, where I feel like Povich was solid, but just a little bit wild. And like the fact that he can't go, let me pull it up here. The fact that he goes 4 1/3, it's just not going to get it done. Like that's where you get your bullpen out there. That's where you see all in one game, Baker, Aiken, Dominguez, Soto, Cano, and Matt Bowman. Like it's just too many guys. Like you just gotta be able to, you gotta ride the lightning a little bit. You gotta find a way to get yourself out of some of these situations. He had like a 25 pitch first inning or something like that. Just tough stuff. 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, and I'll say this too about with Povich, limiting the walks. He's done a great job of that this year. And anybody could talk about when it was like, oh, do you bring up Povich? What do you make of him? Is he going to be a good big leaguer? Is the walks kill him? That's all. All he does is, I think he was averaging like 5 walks per 9. That's not sustainable in the big leagues. And he's really, really done a good job this year of that. I think he's become a much better pitcher, and we're seeing flashes. Like we're seeing a lot of the little like, oh, that was a great inning, or this or that, or this game. So I'm still very excited about him and his potential and what he has. Yesterday, I mean, I don't know, the Blue Jays just hit him. They were hitting everyone. They hit him pretty well, but again, limiting them to 2 earned runs, I'll take that. The 2 Ks, he wasn't missing many bats, but he gave up the home run to it was little fat boy Kirk, who I can't stand that dude, man. Watching him he's just a little like Oompa Loompa. Like he thinks he gets paid by the step, and he's like twinkle toesing around the bases. I can't stand that guy. But yeah, and then the bullpen. And Hyde said it. He knew, they had an off day Friday, and then they have an off day today, Monday. So he said, like, I'm gonna pitch our guys. We have everybody available pretty much except for Felix. And he let it fly. He probably wishes he probably would have gone with Baker for more than a third of an inning. He came in, got the strikeout, which you probably didn't see it. Maybe the weirdest at bat I've ever seen. It was against George Springer, who hurt his wrist, and right away was like, you could tell he swings at strike 1 like high and inside, and he's like going like this.
I did clock that. Yeah, that was
so weird. And JoJo's like, what happened to him? And I go, he hurt his wrist. And she's like, oh, is he coming out of the game? And I'm like, I don't think so. They're looking at him for a long time. They keep him in the game, and he's swinging at these pitches, and it's like, I was like, they have to strike him out because he can't hit anything, and he was in so much pain. He ends up striking out, and he throws his bat down, and he throws the glove off, and he heads right to I'm shocked that they let him like take that at bat. I think there were guys on. I don't remember, but I don't know. That was kind of just like a miss. John Schneider, I think he sucks as a manager. I don't know how you let your guy, take that at bat. But anyway, that's besides the point. But again, and then you go to Aiken. Aiken gave up, I think it was a home run. No, it wasn't a home run. I forget how they scored. We were kind of walking around at this point. But again, Dominguez was good. Soto was very clearly early on, right from the go, was not it. He didn't have it, and they scored 3 off them. Cano lets the guy score, the inherited runner. He's come in with 2 runners on base, and he's let both of them score. Again, the one yesterday was kind of, I think it was to Bichette, and he kind of just flared it in the left and whatever. Again, a good hitter is going to do that. But yeah, and then Bowman. I thought Bowman was fine in extras and in the end of the game, and he just couldn't. You got a weak ground ball to Westberg, and that's how they got the run. I thought he picked off the guy at first. They showed the replay like multiple times, and it looked like he was out, and very clearly they were, no, he's safe. That was just an abortion of a umping situation by all the umpires. That dude Bacon, John Bacon, whatever his name was, Scott Bacon.
Is it just me, or have they just been horrendous?
Worse and worse.
Collectively horrendous this year, all of them.
I don't know if it's like an ABS thing, and they're like, you know what, you want to replace us? Watch this. We're gonna just call it how we see it. They were so bad. We were sitting in left field, and the calls to Westberg, you could see from there. It was like those, and I love this meme template. The like, what are you doing, Blue? From the plane above, being like, are you kidding me, Blue? I'm in left field going, I'm like, that's not a strike. I can see it from here. It's low and inside. Like, what are you doing? So I don't know, man. They've been really, really bad. And it's every game. It's every night. It's every series where you're like, what is going on? I think they said the umpire last night, Bacon, was like, I think it was 1.45 runs for Toronto. Like, that's crazy. That's a lot. They're so bad night in and night out. And I didn't even notice Hyde got ejected at first either. It was that quick. I guess he got thrown out before he was even like out of the dugout. But yeah, that was terrible. Just all around. It was a terrible day, terrible game. I don't know. The umpiring was awful, and it's terrible all throughout the league. But yeah, that was a tough one. I get it when your bullpen has to come in and cover 4.5 innings or whatever, they're bound to happen. And people have been saying, like somebody today was like, oh, the bullpen sucks. Bullpen doesn't suck. The bullpen has been very good, except for CNL Perez. Everyone in the bullpen has been very, very good this year. So to say like the bullpen sucks is recency bias, and
it is, because this game, I mean, 9 total hits across all of these guys, 3 total strikeouts, 4 earned runs, I should say. Only 1 walk out of the bullpen, but I mean, that's just kind of how it goes with a bullpen. Sometimes you don't throw as many pitches. I will say I think Matt Bowman is very solid, but it is just a roller coaster ride watching that guy's delivery. He winds up
jerky.
Yeah, he winds up 3 feet away. I call him the tap dancer, and it's like such a stark contrast. This literal mountain of a man, Felix Bautista, comes in throwing triple digits, and then you got little Matt Bowman tap dancing around out there, just like trying to, scratch and claw his way towards these outs. I mean, it's an aesthetic difference to me that is like one of the most stark in all of sports.
Oh yeah, it's again, his windup is very like, you just want to give him like a Xanax and just be like, yo, just chill out, man. Like, you got it. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. I'm seeing this comment here. Tough spot for Cano. What did you think of throwing the slider against Bichette? I mean, I think it was 0-2, and he threw it down and away. And again, Bichette's just a really good hitter. I don't know. I mean, that's sometimes you get beat. And again, I think Cano, if you watch it, Cano kind of like, the Yankees have hit 3 home runs in this inning. But Cano kind of like, after he gave it up, he kind of was just like, yeah, sometimes your pitches get hit. I'm all right with throwing that in there. And
is he calling his own game too? Is that like Adley? Like, that's kind of what I'd question about that there as well.
Yeah. I don't know. That was tough. Again, if it was anybody other than than Bichette or Vlad, I'd be like, that kind of sucks. But you got beat by their second best player. That's just kind of what happens. Who again, he had a great series. So. And again, Cano has been pretty locked down by himself. When he comes in with guys on, it gets a little dicey. But that's just what happens sometimes. But again, in the bullpen, like I said, if they're asked to cover that many innings, it seems like that's kind of how it goes sometimes. And again, they've been very good. Hopefully, a move is coming sometime soon. I would think before tomorrow. With the guy Blewett, and I said Orioles Twitter is going to have fun, even though his numbers are really good. Orioles Twitter is going to have a lot of fun with that last name. If he,
I hope he just goes out there and is like, like the second coming of Mariano Rivera. Like that would just be the most incredible thing. And for a lot of reasons, I'm hoping that, but mainly the irony. That would be great.
Yeah, again, that was a tough one to swallow, especially, I mean, you get the home run from Mountcastle, who almost kind of quarter swung it over the new into the new splash zone kind of place. Tyler O'Neill, same thing, hit Mr. Splash right in the hands. I mean, that's a tough look for Mr. Splash. Kind of have to have that one, but it was nice to see him get his power back, and same thing with Mountie. And then, Gunnar had a great game. I thought that was his best game yet. 3 hits, 4 hits, triple right off Tony. That was an awful route by Tony to take that. And he kind of just dropped it. And then what else? Who am I thinking? Jackson. That's crazy that they gave him an error on that play. That should have been a hit, I thought. Yeah, he laced that ball off Vlad. So,
and it also it bounced off of who was pitching at the moment. He was clearly Jackson's.
We were in the team store for that. So again, I wasn't sitting down charting pitches or anything, but I looked up.
His view was definitely obstructed on that one. As you were, using your dystopian self-checkout situation there.
He didn't buy anything. Listen, I take JoJo to the store and I'm like, you want this shirt? Do you want this? Do you want this? And she's like, nope, I'm good. I don't want it. She wanted a foam finger, and I was like, "Well, I'm not doing $11 on a foam finger."
Pay a $45 fee for a foam finger. And,
I was like, "I'm not waiting in this line either." But I was like, "If you want a T-shirt or like a sweatshirt, like I'll get you one of those." But she was like, "Nope, I'm good." I was like, "All right, okay, that's fine. I'm trying to spend money on you. You don't want it." So, yeah. But again, I thought after that, I was like, "Okay, you're up 6-3. You got a fully rested bullpen. This would be nice to kind of get that going." And it did not happen that way. So that loss did suck. Again, I thought the offense played well enough to win. I don't know. Again, I thought they should have sent Adley when he hit the double, sent him to third for a triple. I wasn't I saw him hit it. I'm looking at the fielder and looking at Adley and kind of going back and forth.
I was surprised on that. Like, he usually tries to test those like to a fault. So maybe they've been working on that with him, and that's why he stopped. But like, I was like, damn, he should definitely take that one, and he held up.
And I haven't seen a replay. My dad told me that the fielder kind of bobbled it and was kind of messing around with it, kind of like his first hit, that triple down the line, in 2022 or whatever.
Yeah.
Was it 23? No, what year?
2022. I think 22.
I don't remember.
Preakness.
Yeah, it was 22. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, where he kind of bobbles it in the corner, Brett Phillips, and then he ends up on third. I thought that they would have done that and sent him, but and then they're not able to get anything going, and you go from your first series win to splitting the series, and you're kind of feeling like, ah, shit, we let that one slip, and kind of here we go again. Let's try and get back on the track. And I'm happy. I thought the at-bats that they took early on were fine. Some of the at-bats late were not great. Tyler O'Neill with a 3-pitch bat, just like strike, strikeout swinging, not great. But again, I think they're slowly. I think Gunner's starting to at least feel better and look better. Again, people are like, "Oh, what do you do with Gunner? He missed a month. Like it's going to take him some time to get back." He smoked the hell out of the ball, and that's all he's done is hit the ball hard. He's got to hit a home run this series. I think we're getting one this series against Cleveland to kind of get him back into form. But again, some of the other guys I'd like to see a little more pickup out of some of them, and would be nice to get Jackson going again, and some of the other guys. But that's just kind of how it goes right now. So you got to get back on track, and hopefully Cleveland they can do it. So it's going to be good weather, I think, the rest of the week. So you're hoping for some good crowds and giveaway on Friday and I think Saturday too. So hopefully they can win a series, look competitive. But I don't know. Again, they've looked better at least to the naked eye. But like you said, they haven't been able to put it all together in one game yet. Like, great starting pitching, great offense, and the bullpen looked solid. They just haven't had that since like opening day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this will be a good test. I mean, this was obviously take a look at what Cleveland's record is right.
I think they're 9-7. I have it right here. Yeah, 8-7. -2 run differential. The Orioles are -6. But again, the Orioles have scored more. They've given up more. Orioles 3-7 in their last 10. Cleveland 6-4. But let me see. Cleveland's 3-6 away. The Orioles are only 2-3 at home. So again, you gotta win your home games, and then you gotta hope to win some of the road games. But at home games, especially Camden Yards, like you gotta start winning these games. You have to.
Yeah. No, you absolutely do. So yeah, hopefully that'll come, and it would be huge to do so against a team that went pretty deep in the playoffs last year, and we're a couple breaks away from making it to the World Series. So that would be a big confidence boost, I think, if they can go get this one done. But we will see if it happens. Anything else on this abbreviated series recap over these two games?
Yeah, I will say, I think the pitching is going to. Again, people, we talk about a lot. Like they do need to make some trade. They got to get some arms in, and those arms are coming. They're getting a lot of the guys back not really soon, but pretty soon. Kittredge, Brandon Hyde said he's ahead of schedule. He was thrown in the bullpen or in the outfield on Saturday. So was Grayson. Kyle Gibson made his start down in Norfolk. Joke all you want about that, but that's going to be again another arm who hopefully can give you 5 or 6 innings. He looked great down in Norfolk. But here we go. So say you get Gibson around May 1st, that would be great. Grayson around May 15th, a couple weeks later, so maybe about a month. You still got Tyler Wells, who just threw his first bullpen. Bradish had his first bullpen. Maybe if you get Bradish July 1st, maybe, again, Kittredge coming back to the bullpen is really going to settle things down and will really calm everything down. You think that he would probably take Bowman's spot. They could DFA him, I believe, and then probably pass him through waivers again. But again, so that's Gibson, Grayson, Bradish, Tyler Wells, and Kittredge that you would think would be coming back relatively within the next probably say 2 months, hopefully. And then Eflin too. Eflin, I would say Eflin maybe by May 1st, gets back. So there's plenty of reinforcements coming in, and it does suck to kind of be counting on a lot of these guys all coming back from pretty significant injuries. A lot of them, the knee injury with Kittredge, Wells with his injury, Bradish with his, all that stuff. So it does suck to kind of be like, well, you're putting all your eggs in those guys' baskets, but you would think that a couple of them, maybe not all of them, it's kind of crazy to think that all of them will come back and be perfectly fine and healthy and like pick up right where they left off. That's just not going to happen. But again, I think the odds will probably be in the Orioles' favor with them coming back and hitting well, or being able to pitch well and kind of settling things down and calming everything and just getting everyone in the right order. I think everything and everyone feels so mismatched and like out of their normal routine and spot right now. And again, they're only 15, 14 games in, whatever. But it's just, I think once they start getting some of those guys back, you'll see everyone kind of like, all right, take a breath. We know where you're pitching, when you're pitching, and here's your role and all that. So I think it will start to get better. And then again, I do think the offense will start to come alive and just be more consistent. I do think that. Again, we're still probably 5 or 6 weeks from Colton coming back, but I think Gunnar hitting will start to come into form. And same thing with Adley. He's kind of picked it up again, and Cedric's carrying the team right now. And again, you just got to hope some of the other guys kind of by the wayside will start to pick it up. Mounty's hitting it again well. O'Hearn smoked some balls yesterday, and Westberg, something seems off with Westberg offensively at least. Defensively, he seemed fine, but again, we've heard them kind of talk about, he's battling something in upper body, this or he's fighting this, but I don't know. He looks great in the field, but something offensively just seems a tick off. So he swung and missed a lot in spring, and I was like, that's spring training. Who cares? I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but I don't know. Something seems off with him offensively. So hopefully, he gets back going and he's just another weapon along the way. But again, 2.5 games out, it's very frustrating. It's just a blah up and down. It's kind of like the weather's been like the weather has sucked. And I don't know, they kind of seem to just be taking on, the attitude of the weather.
If they're in Maryland, that means we can expect a lot more inconsistency throughout the rest of this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but again, you hope that again that once the weather starts heating up, that they'll start to go. So other than that, the guy I didn't see it again. We moved from the bird bath yesterday. It was very hot, and Joe does not do well with the heat, so we moved up to one of the other under overhangs, and I'm in the bathroom. And some guy in I don't know, it's probably like 7th inning. And this guy, we're there at the urinals. Guy goes, "Did anybody else see the dude puking his brains out in the bird bath?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "This guy was just like projectile, like violently throwing up." And they were like, "Brother, there are kids around. Like, this is the bird bath." I was like, "Well, Mr. Splash does have the hose." And he was like, "Yeah, this you needed more than that hose for the to clean that up." But shout out to that guy. I don't know how you get blackout drunk in the bird bath with kids and let it fly from there. So
yeah, that's definitely a dude who just like bought those tickets like as a casual and like didn't understand the environment he was going to be in. Like, let's just go day drink at a baseball game, and it can get away from you very quickly. It happens.
It got away from him. So shout out to them. Shout out to the Maryland Foodie Boys who we saw. And Joe was like, "Oh, I know who they are." Like, I was like, "How do you know who they are?" And she's like, "Kids in my class talk about them." I was like, "Oh my God." They were walking around and they had their like Splash Boys jerseys on. And Joe was like, "There go the Foodie Boys." And I was like, "Oh my God." Like that's wild that you just know what the Foodie Boys are. So
that's one that's just like, are things just getting away from me a little bit? Like I tried, like I really did try. And I just like, it's no cost.
The clips are funny. The clips are funny.
Yeah. Like, but it's just like you watch one of them, I feel like I've seen them all. I don't know. I don't mean to be a hater. Like, good for them. They're killing it. But I just that's like the world is just moving on at a rapid pace away from me.
It was they were funny. I don't know. They cracked me up. So it was Overall, it was a good day. I wish they would have come away with the win, but again, they're close. You can feel it. Like they're close. And again, none of these other teams still. Everyone's kind of fighting the same battle. Like nobody can get it going yet. So it's not just the Orioles. It's you look around the league. It's everyone. So if you're not in the NL West, you're having a tough go of it, and you're trying to figure it out, and what way is up, and how to get healthy, and how to get your guys going. So it's still very early. People don't want to hear it, but that's I still have plenty of faith. They're going to get some healthy reinforcements back and hopefully kind of round into form. So,
Yeah,
you know,
you do
Jeff
like to think
Hoffman, blow the kiss. I listen, I'm fine with it. I hope he keeps the same energy, when they play Atlanta, because Atlanta did the same thing. And
I just don't get it. Like, what are we doing? Like, you're fucking Jeff Hoffman, man. Like, you're not like.
You're not Mariana. But I get it. I mean, he's nasty. He's been really good this year. He's on my fantasy team, so he's been nasty the last couple of years. But I think it was
And he's also
Koska?
doing it to the dugout. Like, it's not their fault. It's not. First of all, it's not the club's fault that you failed the physical.
Gunner actually did the MRI and was like, "Oh, that shoulder looks shredded, brother. We can't do this." Like,
yep, I don't know about this one, partner.
No, but somebody, Koska or somebody, I forget who, said that they asked 3 members of the Orioles in the clubhouse what they thought about it. None of the Orioles said they saw it, and then they showed the video. They said to one Orioles veteran, I don't know if that's O'Hearn, maybe, I don't know. And he said no one in the dugout had anything to do with what happened. Like, they wanted him on the team. Like, blow it up to the doctors. I don't know, to the front office. Go turn around to the warehouse. Like, they wanted to give you $40 million. Your shoulder, again, I don't root for injuries, but man, if that shoulder blows up into a billion pieces, I will be very happy. Like, just keep the same energy against the Braves, because again, there was zero communication, no talking between the Braves and the Orioles. The Orioles pulled their offer first. The Braves the next day or 2 days later had the same thing. They had a 5-year deal for him. And then they were like, no, something is wrong. It's not the teams, it's your shoulder. Like, if you take your car, if I try and sell my car to 2 different spots and both of them are like, nah, we're not going to give you money for that. Like, what does that say? It's your car. Like, your car is the thing that stinks, dude.
You feel like you're getting a good deal. They feel like they're getting a good deal.
Yeah, it's if I try and take a stake, whatever. But again, whatever. I said, like, it feels good to be able to hate the Blue Jays again. The Blue Jays just make themselves very hateable, very easy. John Schneider, he just seems like just a complete clown. I like Vlad, I like Bichette, obviously Tony, but the other guys, it's like, okay, blow the kiss. Like, I had a couple tweets like ready to go to, and I just deleted them. I was like, I'm not. Whatever. Like, I blogged it, and I was like, it just feels good to hate them again. Like, that's all. That was the whole thing.
It goes back to like the Joey Bats days. Like, they were always pesky. Like, they had potential, but they were never going to win a World Series. But it was just fun in in division rival. Good to have some kind of mid-tier hate.
Exactly. And again, I mean, and again, I mean, you can say the same thing about the Orioles. They haven't won anything. Like, but the Orioles aren't blowing kisses and I don't know, bad foot. Well, they are bad flipping. But yeah, it's I don't know. It was a weird, sure, whatever, dude. Like I said, if that's what has to motivate you to go out and do your job, then
it's just the biggest cool man of all time that you just like struck out a below 500 team, and you're walking off like that video of Antonio Conte just like freaking out when like his team scored a goal or whatever. It's just like, what are we doing here, man? It's like fucking April 14th. The weather sucks. Like your team is leading the division. Great. You're fucking 9-7. The Orioles are 6-8 now. It's just like, I don't know. Try and maybe get some juice going. I get it.
Yeah, whatever you got to do to get yourself fired up, sure, whatever. But like, it was just like, okay, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Like, nobody on the Orioles was like, there were people who were like, this team is soft. They're a bunch of pussies. Like, I would have punched them in the face. Like, nobody was paying attention. The Orioles are like, oh, we lost. All right, we're out. Like, no one is sitting there. They're not Stefan Diggsing it, like sitting on the sideline, like, oh my God, look at the Blue Jays celebrate. They're like, that has nothing to do with the team and how soft they are. Like, no, nobody paid attention. Nobody saw it. Nobody gave a shit. So I don't that stuff. I was like, that's the fans. You tell me that I'm going to pull something reaching a lot. Those fans were.
He might be the real Pete Weber. We were talking about Bryson staring down the grandstand on 16 on Saturday.
I thought that was more of like a let's kind of go thing when he did the no look putter tap.
Yeah, I was like, did somebody say something to him? Like, what was that? And then with Hoffman, it was like, huh, like. Did any of those guys do anything to you? Like, I don't know. Like,
you were going to show Robinson Chirinos, the acting manager. Like, yeah, you really gave it to him.
That got my blood pumping. RC is that guy's going to be a manager someday. I'm excited for it.
There was a lot of good rhetoric and
I bet. Yeah.
There was like, look at him. I think it may have been Matt with the Sun. By the way, the cutest thing in the world. We may have to clip this. I'm walking to the game on Sunday, and I see Matt, Andy, JCM, and Jake all walking into the same coffee shop together. The one like right next to wherever Frank and Nick's was, whatever they've turned that into. It's like Baltimore Brew or something. They were walking in, and I texted Wayrich and Casca, and I go, extra large hot chocolate, please deliver to the stadium or something like that. And Matt goes, wow, you really do have eyes everywhere, don't you?
A lot of baggy button downs and pleated khakis and press credentials just on the lanyard.
Yeah,
like
just the smell of like fresh coffee beans and freshly laminated credentials were flowing through the streets of Baltimore.
A true meeting of the Big J here.
Just getting their coffee. But yeah, it was funny. No hot chocolate though from Matt, so kind of messed up, but it's whatever.
Well,
so yeah, again,
all of us drink coffee. So
nah, they'll find it. They'll get it going. It's just it sucks right now going through it, and this is just I don't know. It's a long season. It sucks though, but we'll be all right. Figure it out. 2.5 games out. So are the Dodgers. That's what somebody tweeted. They were like, the Orioles and the Dodgers are 2.5 games out. So
that is interesting. Very interesting. Just goes to show maybe you don't need to spend money. Maybe what they're doing is working.
Don't say that too loud because people will think you're serious and they'll be like, "What the Rubenstein?"
Yeah, I hope somebody clips that. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in here to, like I said, the abbreviated little series recap that we did here. Some ups, some downs. The season marches on, and we'll be there as it continues to do so. My name is Jake Louque. You can find me on Twitter at Jake Louque. That's LOUQUE. Eric at EDITTI22. Find the show at X52 Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And while you're here, please subscribe to us on YouTube if you're not on. If you are not already, like all the videos, comment on all of them, get the algorithm pumping for us, spread us by word of mouth. Shout out to our great sponsors at Jimmy's Famous Seafood. And we will talk to you guys again very, very soon.
Bye.
Arrivederci.